Everyone, I'm going to go over budget spreadsheet number 2 so that you can hopefully get started on it if you're having trouble, or check your answers if you need to. All right, so first of all, I'm going to share the assignment in Teams so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so you should see this when you go to Teams and you look under assignments and you click on this budget spreadsheet number 2. There is a worksheet here that gives you the directions. So you're going to read through this, follow the directions, answer the questions. A lot of you are like uploading this and then adding your answers here and there. That's perfectly fine. Or you can just open up a new document, a blank document, and just write in your answers. That's also fine. So what we really want to do is go to the budget spreadsheet and open that up. When you open that up, you'll see this warning. You'll also see that it's read only. Just ignore that. Right here's a button that says Edit Workbook, and that's what we want to click on. And then we have this blank spreadsheet. These values have been entered for you, giving you set up different monthly bills, and then these are your everyday expenses. All right, so I'm going to go through the worksheet questions and briefly, not all of them, just to give you an idea of what you should be doing. Okay, so here's your spreadsheet. Question number 1 says, when you open the student budget spreadsheet, you'll see different monthly expenses. Here are your monthly bills. You've got your projected amounts. Some bills vary from month to month, depending on your usage, and some bills are fixed. So for example, your rent or your mortgage bill will be the same every month so that you can depend on that and budget for it. Your car insurance will also be the same every month. Sometimes these can go up, but then you'll be notified ahead of time and it'll be fixed at that point. So they are fixed, although they're not fixed forever. Other things will change from month to month. So for example, your cell phone might change depending on your plan. If you have a plan that's unlimited, whatever, everything, then it probably won't change. It'll always be that amount. But if you get charged per minute of call, or if you make long distance calls, then you would probably have this be varied. Another thing that's going to vary would be your water bill, because it depends on how much water you use. Your cable or internet bill can be fixed. It usually is generally fixed unless you make an extra purchase. Say you want to download a game on your TV, or you want to rent a movie or something like that right there directly on your TV. So then this would be increased. Okay, so that's question 2. Question 3 says, for each of the categories below, and it's these 4 categories here in your everyday expenses, come up with 7 to 8 purchases that are unique to you. Write them here on the worksheet in these spots right here. And then you're going to enter those dollar amounts in the spreadsheet in the appropriate places. So the dollar amounts get put on this side of this spreadsheet right here. So for example, I go to the grocery store and I spend, say, $23.25. Okay, that goes in there. And then I go get some gas and I spend, my usual amount to fill up my tank is about $32. So I'm going to put that there. Since I'm out and about, I'm going to run through Starbucks and get a latte, which I can't remember exactly how much they are, but I'm going to take a guess. And then I'm going to go back, another day, say I forgot to get some things. So I'm going to add a little bit more here. Okay, so what your assignment is to come up with 7 to 8 different purchases. You're going to have 7 to 8 different purchases here. And then in question 3, you're going to tell me in each category how much you spent and how much remains. And those amounts are right here on your spreadsheet, because what this does, this beauty of this spreadsheet, is it calculates things for you. So it adds these 2 purchases together and puts the dollar amount here. This one, I've only spent the one thing, so that's what I've spent. If I put in another amount here, let's say I put in $6, and you can see it should be $11.45. That's the total. Yep, $11.45. So that tells me how much I've spent. It also tells me how much remains in these 3 or 4 different categories, so that I know if I go back to the store, to the grocery store, I still have about $80 to spend. I still have about $28 to spend on myself, and I have my miscellaneous category for myself is completely available. So in question 3, just put in the spent amount and the remaining amount in each category. Question 4 says, looking over here at the monthly expenses, throughout your biweekly pay period, you'll have bills coming due. They don't come due all at once. And in this little box here for your monthly expenses, I've given you different due dates. They are spread out through the month when they come due. So you have to kind of keep track of the due dates when you're thinking about what you need to afford with your paycheck. Question number 4 says, what monthly bills would you pay with the first paycheck? Now, this isn't the first of the month, so you're getting paid every 2 weeks, which means it's going to come in at different times of the month. This assignment here tells you that the first paycheck gets deposited on the 6th day of the month, and your second paycheck will get deposited 14 days later on the 20th day of the month. So which bills would you pay with that first paycheck that goes from the 6th to the 19th? Well, looking over here in our monthly bills category, if it comes in on the 6th, then it would be anything after the 6th and probably up to the 19th. Or I could go a little bit further, because you have to remember, not only do you have due dates, but sometimes it takes a while for these bills to be processed. So if you send a check by mail, it could take 5 to 7 days for that check to reach you. Now, there is a grace period to some of these, like rent or mortgage might be a 3 or 4 day, maybe a 5-day grace period. So if it comes in after the 5th, that's okay. But I wouldn't wait too long. I would probably send it in before the bill is due. If things are due and you can send the payment directly to the company, then within a day or 2 of the due date would be fine. So for me, since my paycheck, this first paycheck gets deposited on the 6th, I would certainly pay the car insurance bill, and I would pay the water bill, and I would probably also pay the cable internet bill. Even though it's going to be in the next paycheck when it comes due, I want to get a jump on things and make sure it gets paid on time so that my credit isn't messed up. And I also want to try and balance the bills throughout the month. If I wait till the next pay period to pay this bill, then I'm going to have to pay all 4 of these bills that are going to come due, or at least these 3 bills, maybe even that one. So think about not only when things come due, but also trying to balance your paycheck from one set of bills to the other. So the next pay period, then, if I pay this from the 6th to the 19th, in the next pay period, I'm going to have to pay these other bills, which will come due. Okay. Question 5 says, in the monthly expenses box under the actual column, enter the dollar amounts you paid on the bills with the first paycheck only. So I'm only going to enter the dollar amounts right here, is what I'm paying for my first paycheck only. Some bills will be fixed and some will vary. As I said before, your car insurance bill is fixed, so I'm going to put that amount there. My water bill is going to vary, and because it depends on how much I use. So let's say I've been home a lot, I'm definitely paying more attention to my yard, and I'm watering more. So I'm going to make this bill go up a bit. Okay. I'm going to keep my cable bill fixed at $175, but if you have, say, rented some movies because you're really bored, whatever, then that would go up too. Okay, then question 6 says, these monthly bills are paid with the money that comes out of your biweekly income right here. The first question is just pretty straightforward. It says, this spreadsheet sets aside a certain amount of money for your everyday expenses, which is this $220 here. That's to cover these expenses right here. That's this $220. And then you have leftover amount of money to pay your other bills with. So here's your what's set aside. Here's what remains to pay your other bills. In question number 7, you're going to enter these bill amounts in the remaining boxes here to the right of the $220 to take it out of your paycheck so that you know how much is left for you to spend. So I keep doing that. My computer has the decimal point in an odd place, or at least not where I'm used to. So there's the $98.95 right from there. The next bill that I paid is $54.23. And the next bill I paid is $175. Okay, so I've paid these bills for this pay period. I'm good, and I've got some money left over. Question 7B says, what would you do with this extra cash? Well, you've got to think ahead. You've got a big bill coming up. And if you noticed, you only had $580 left from your typical budget. That's not going to be enough to cover all these remaining bills. So I would definitely set this aside, maybe in your savings, or just leave it there so that you can pay these other bills. All right, at least some of it. Okay, so that's it for spreadsheet number 2. Whoa. I'm going to close this out, stop sharing this, and end this video and post it.